Alright, now for the one and only assault rifle, which is the AK, is it 74 or 47? I forget which one it is in this game. I know someone's just going to be smartass and comment, but regardless, it is an AK weapon. We know that for sure. And only Claire can use it in this game. So, let's go ahead and test it out. Alright, as you can see, there isn't much to see. It's only given me the barrel of the weapon. If I find an enemy, I could like get behind it and the camera would shift. I'll probably get a better angle at some point. But anyway, let's go ahead and test it out. Same way I fired the submachine guns. So it's roughly every 15%. Sometimes there's a 16 or so. But yeah, there you go. There's the assault rifle. Same firing sound, fire rate as in the original Code Veronica. No surprise, huh? I partially stand by what I say in the original Code Veronica that Survivor 2 is just Code Veronica in first person. And when it comes to gameplay mechanics anyway, for the most part. Alright, now let's go ahead and test the assault rifle on a Bandersnatch. Alright, so it took 11 shots to defeat the Bandersnatch with the assault rifle. So, the assault rifle is a lot more powerful than the submachine gun, obviously being just in its weapon class. The assault rifle is almost as powerful as an individual handgun bullet as well. So, if you spam fired that thing, you can get some damage done. Alright, well, that's all I really have to say about the assault rifle. So here's a better view of it. Well, there, now you get a full view. Alright, now for the one and only shotgun of this game. Of course, it is the SPAS 12 shotgun. And this is the first weapon I'm featuring that can be used by both characters. Now, there are two other characters as well. There's Chris and Juan in this game, but both of them only have one weapon. So that's why I'm not even mentioning them. But anyway, let's go ahead and test the shotgun out. And just like the assault rifle, get like only the front half of the weapon. I can't see the entire thing. But anyway, let's go ahead and test it out. That is the fastest fire rate I could show you of the shotgun. Because as long as you let go of the firing button once and then press it again, even if you're still in the middle of a shot, it will give you the next possible shot. So that is the fastest fire rate. Now let's go ahead. Testing this on a Bandersnatch is going to be interesting because I know for a fact range will matter in this case. Alright, let's try long range first. Okay, it took a total of 12 damn shots. Or 11, I should say. So, long range is not ideal for a shotgun. Let's try medium range. Oh, okay. So only 3 shots from medium range. Could we get even lower if we go close? Well, of course, if we get the critical. I didn't quite want that, though. Alright, so close and medium range are about the same. So yeah, 3 shotgun shells if you're close enough, but if you're far away, it is a super weak weapon. I do not recommend that you do this from far range. It is, after all, a more close range type of weapon. Alrighty, well, that is gonna conclude the shotgun. Alright, here's like a full view of the shotgun. Now for the one and only Magnum of the game, also from Code Veronica, is, I believe, the Colt Python. And this is a Claire only weapon. Steve cannot use it. Let's go ahead and test it out. Here it is in game. Nice looking. Alright, let's test it out. Alright, not a bad fire rate for a Magnum. but it is super powerful and it is really awesome to use when it comes to maintaining combos in this game. Alright, let's go ahead and test it out on a Bandersnatch. Alright, so only 2 shots from the Magnum to take down a Bandersnatch. There's the show of raw firepower for you. Alright. Well, nothing much else to say about it other than, once again, it is a great weapon for combos in this game, which is critical to some of the missions. Alright, you dedicated subscribers who are watching this video, you didn't think I would forget my old Magnum tradition now, would you? Hell no. Yep, time has come to do an explosive headshot on a standard zombie. And I'll make sure to get the critical as well. It's the closest thing to a explosive headshot I can get on this game, since just like the regular Code Veronica, there is no decapitation, unfortunately. So let's do it. Headshot! Alrighty, so that will conclude the Magnum. Alright, now we're gonna get into the explosive weapons, the final weapon category. And the first one I'm gonna show happens to be this bowgun here in Claire's inventory. That is because it's rigged with explosive gunpowder arrows, kinda like in the original Code Veronica, which you could do. I found a funny little thing though in this game. They list it as gunpowder. See, watch, when I switch between weapons, it says gunpowder bowgun, not gunpowder bowgun. So, I don't know if that was a mistake on their part, or if they really mean gunpowder. No, you know for a fact they meant to say gunpowder, because that's how the explosive arrows were created. But anyway, let's go ahead and test it out. Here it is in game. Alright, so that's going to be interesting to fire on a Bandersnatch. Alright, so only 2 explosive arrows to take down a Bandersnatch. Now, in my experience, it can sometimes take 3 if you do something like this. For some reason, if you fire it a little faster and a shot hits him during his stun animation, he's able to take an extra hit. There must be some sort of damage reducing power going on here when they're in the middle of a stun to make it a little more fair gameplay, I guess. So it could take 2 to 3 arrows for a Bandersnatch, depending on how fast you fire it. I suggest you let a little bit of time in between each arrow to save that 1 extra arrow, you know? Alright, well, that is it for the explosive bowgun. Alright, now for the next explosive weapon, the Grenade Launcher. Now this is exclusive only to Steve in this game, for some odd reason. But anyway, let's go ahead and test it out. And once again, I can only see the barrel of it. Here we go. Alright, so it is the burst-bearing explosive rounds, however, whichever you want to call, that scatter everywhere. And yeah, unlike most Resident Evil games, you can't get multiple kinds of rounds for this grenade launcher. It's just simply the explosive type. Alright, well, let's go ahead and test a grenade launcher on a Bandersnatch. Okay, so distance is going to play a critical part on this weapon. So, from a close range, it took 2 triggers of the weapon, so probably like 10 individual bearings. But on that last one, it looked as if only 1 of those projectiles was actually hitting him for the most part, and it took 3 of those. So I would say between 1 and maybe 4 firings of the grenade launcher to take down a Bandersnatch, depending on range. And of course, you could always go for that critical, because I believe it still applies to even the grenade launcher. So yeah, powerful explosive weapon, no doubt, and could get multiple targets with all that scattering. Alright, well, that's going to conclude the grenade launcher. Now for the next explosive weapon, the rocket launcher. Now this is a weapon that both Claire and Steve can use. However, it is kind of hard to come by throughout the game. You get it rarely, so once you have it, it's a pretty awesome weapon, and you might want to only save it for bosses. Alright, so let's go ahead and see it. Here it is, only the end of it, unfortunately. But we'll deal with it. Let's test it out. Okay, so having fun with that. I know for a fact the Bandersnatch is going to take only one shot. We'll show it anyway, but I feel like a good enemy to actually test this on will be the final boss of this stage, which is a Tyrant. Alright, so just as I thought, the rocket launcher is only taken one shot. So yeah, not a good enemy to test it on. Let's test it on a Tyrant now. Actually, let's test this on Nosferatu real quick, on my way to the Tyrant. Alright, so 2 shots to defeat Nosferatu with the rocket launcher. Okay, so for regular Tyrants, it took 2 shots. For that last crazy one, though, it took 3. Probably due to the fact that he was in mid-animation for one of those shots. So, yeah, when enemies are in animations of some sort, there seems to be some sort of shield effect. Alrighty then. Well, that's gonna go ahead and conclude the rocket launcher. Alright, time for yet another explosive weapon. And this one, it is Code Veronica's exclusive linear launcher. So, well, okay, it does reappear in Darkside Chronicles, but you know what I mean. Anyway, the linear launcher could also be used by Claire and Steve, as well as Chris Redfield, the unlockable character. This is his only weapon. However, when he uses it, it has unlimited charges. So here's the thing, in the original Code Veronica, the linear launcher didn't have an amount of bullets necessarily, it just had to recharge itself after firing each projectile. In this one, they give it an actual quantity of shots. So let's go ahead and see it. So here it is, once again, just like the rocket launcher, can only see the end of it, but whatever. Let's test it out. Alrighty then. So, just like the rocket launcher, I know this will take only one shot for the Bandersnatch, so I'll show that, but I'm also going to test it on the Tyrant as well. Alright, once again, only one shot, so yeah. So yep, 2 shots with the linear launcher to take down Nosferatu. And the same result with the Tyrant, probably. Wow, only 1 shot. and of course took 2 for the stronger one. So the linear launcher is more powerful than the rocket launcher apparently. So yeah, definitely worth having that. Alright, well, nothing much else to say, other than that is it for the linear launcher. Alrighty, we are there. Time for the final weapon of this review. It is called the Panzerfaust EX. So as the game puts it, Panzerfaust EX. So this is an explosive weapon. It basically acts sort of like the mine thrower from Resident Evil 3, more or less, because you fire it, it attaches to an enemy, and then it explodes after a certain amount of time. I guess it would be a good weapon for, like, groups. If you lure one enemy into a group, you can get them all in one short blast. In fact, it only holds one rocket, or one missile, whatever. One projectile at a time. You have to collect this weapon individually. It cannot stack on itself, unfortunately. Which is retarded, but yeah. Alright, so let's test it out real quick. Okay, so if you miss your target, it instantly explodes. Alright, well, I'm gonna go acquire another one, and I will test... Well, we'll see the effects of it on a Bandersnatch, but most likely test it on a Tyrant once again. Alright, so check this out. Another feature about the Panzerfaust. Okay, so yeah, a delayed explosive, as I said, but if you didn't notice, when I fired it, I wasn't aiming directly at the Bandersnatch. The Panzerfaust has tracking ability as well, so for all intents and purposes, it is very similar to the Mine Thrower in Resident Evil 3, as well as Resident Evil 4, I guess you could say. Panzerfaust, it's exclusive to this game only, and you can only pick it up once in a while, and you can only pick up one at a time. If you pick up another one and have the space, it won't stack. It will instead take up a whole nother space in your inventory. So yeah, it's a weapon to save strictly for bosses. The fact that it only took one round, I'm gonna go ahead and test it on a Tyrant as well. Uh-oh. Okay, so the Panzerfaust, not even 2 Panzerfaust rockets will defeat a Tyrant, so out of the 3 big explosive weapons, the Panzerfaust happens to be the weakest, it seems. So, it's probably not the best explosive weapon to go with, especially for boss fights like that. But that's just based on my test right there, which got me killed. Not that it matters anyway, I was only able to hold a total of 2 Panzerfaust right there. I guess that will serve as a good conclusion, and since I'm done with the weapon review, it's okay that I died because I'm going back to the menu anyway. Alright people, so that is my weapon review of Resident Evil Survivor 2 Code Veronica. I really hope you enjoyed the video. It was kind of interesting to go back to weapon reviews, even though it's a game that I could do without, really. It's definitely in my bottom 5 of games to play in the Resident Evil franchise. But anyway, it's a weapon review like any other, and I did have a little bit of fun making it. And it wasn't that tough either. So, to conclude, as always, this is Shankster94, aka The Gamer Shankster. Rate, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shankster_94. Check out my Facebook page and support me on Patreon if you wish. And a shout out to Wyatt Shawtrand, one of my most dedicated subscribers and frequent responders, as well as my very first patron on my Patreon who made a $10 pledge not too long ago. Thank you very much, man. Alright, well, with this over with, the surest video I will create next, returning to full plays, will be the start of my remake full play. Still have no idea how long it's going to take, though. It's going to be a while, I can guarantee that. But in the meantime, peace out.